Well, I was lucky enough to spend an afternoon with 11-year-old Eric Rine. The Bowling Green fifth grader and his family have a long history with the Children's Miracle Network at Mercy Children's Hospital.
Oh, yes! Yes! Oh! Good job!
Yeah! 11-year-old Eric Rine loves the game of golf. In fact, he loves a lot of things.
Bowling, hockey, golf, bike riding, skateboarding, kneeboard riding.
What's your favorite?
All of them.
Okay, we'll go right down here.
Maybe the first thing you see when you look at Eric is the wheelchair, but spend 5 minutes with him and that will change.
Eric doesn't know that he can't do anything. We've never said you can't do that. It's how are you going to do it?
It was almost 12 years ago to the day that Stephanie Rine and her husband found out their third child was going to be born with spina bifida. Stephanie was 18 weeks pregnant when she first got the news during an ultrasound.
And I just remember immediately my heart just thumping and pounding, and my husband was holding my hand, and we just gripped tighter. And
spina bifida is where the spinal cord does not close in utero. So Eric was born with a hole in his back about the size of a $50, and his spinal cord was protruding in a fluid-filled sac when he was born. The Rines got connected with Mercy Children's after finding out about Eric's condition. They have a clinic for children born with spina bifida.
And it was the greatest thing for us, being so overwhelmed by so many medical needs and issues, that there was already a team of people that were experts and that could reassure us that we'll help you with this, we'll do that, and everything was mapped out before Eric was born.
After Eric was born, he was immediately whisked away and 2 hours later went into his first surgery. That first year, Eric had 7 surgeries and 152 doctor's appointments. In the last 11 years, the number of surgeries has increased to 20, most of them at Mercy Children's.
And just to be able to go up the road, a half an hour and have all the specialists right there that gave Eric such excellent care, it really helped our quality of life. You're already going through such a hard time, but to be able to have such a wonderful facility literally in your backyard.
Today, if Eric's not on the golf course, you might find him competing in a 5K bike race or with his Boy Scout troop, watching NASCAR or popping wheelies, or maybe on his kneeboard. He has also been chosen as the Children's Miracle Network Champion Kid for the state of Ohio, and it is easy to see why. Dave Sanford is Eric's golf coach.
Because Eric is that person. He will do anything and everything.
He's the bravest kid I know.
Whoa! Very good.
And we have a special treat this morning because Eric and his family and one of his doctors who has been with him since the very beginning are joining us live. Welcome. Thank you guys for getting up early. I know Eric was yawning. We've been here since 5:30, buddy, so you got a late call time. But thank you guys for coming in today. I know that Mercy has meant a lot to you, and we were just talking too. You have 2 other daughters, and recently one of them ended up in the care of Mercy.
Yes, our 18-year-old daughter had a stroke about 8 weeks ago, and we were able to get her up here to see Dr. Suarez. They found she has a hole in her heart, and he recently repaired that. Dr. Jasty and Dr. Hasib, and all 3 of those doctors have worked very closely to try to figure out, why an 18-year-old had a stroke and what we need to do to prevent it from happening again. And it was very reassuring to us to have their help and their support during that time.
Well, and that's what's so interesting is, you don't think you're going to have to call on it, you don't imagine it, and Mercy's coming to your life, and Children's Miracle Network has come into your life in so many different ways and has blessed you in so many different ways, and I'm sure it's nice and comforting to know they're just down the road.
Absolutely. To be able to drive a half an hour from our home, to find excellent care, excellent doctors, and not only are they excellent in the medical perspective, but they truly care about our children. Mm-hmm. They spend time with us, they sit and talk to us, and if they're baffled about things, then they'll do the research and try to learn and find a solution to the problem.
Mm-hmm. And you have a lot of buddies over at Mercy, huh? You have a lot of friends over there. Yep. And who's that man standing right next to you?
Dr. Kropp.
And Dr. Kropp has actually been with Eric since Eric was born, which is just such a neat story. And tell me a little bit about what this journey's been like for you and to see him today.
It's wonderful. I was just a member of a team of physicians that take care of kids like Eric. And so, but I've watched him grow and I've watched him develop into a terrific kid.
And Dr. Crump, what does Children's Miracle Network allow you to do over at Mercy that you wouldn't be able to do if we didn't have the support from the community with CMN?
I never consider all kids can be taken care of. I think that's the biggest thing, and I don't have to worry about anything other than I just take care of the kids. I bond with them. I grow up with them. I get invited to their graduations, and so it's really neat.
Just a couple more years, Eric, and he's going to be at yours, right? Eric's going off to middle school next year. A really exciting time for you, and Mercy has meant a lot to you through the years.
It really has. Eric's had a total of 20 surgeries, and I believe about 16 or 17 of them have been here. And the one time we had to go to a different hospital that was not a Children's Miracle Network hospital, we could immediately tell the difference. There just wasn't the warmth, there wasn't the environment, there wasn't the resources for Eric, and we got through it, but we were very glad to be able to come home to Mercy Children's after that for the rest of his care.
I remember when I met you a few weeks ago, you had mentioned that, and I've heard a few other people say that it's not a difference necessarily. The medical might be up to par at some of these other hospitals, but you just feel the warmth. I took a tour last week. You walk in, and I knew instantly what you meant by that.
Yes, and you know, because Eric spent so much time there the first 4 years of his life, it was great when we found our favorite nurses, or they would see Eric coming down the hall and they're like, "Eric's back." It just, you know, you never want a hospital to be like home, but if you have to be there, you want to feel welcomed and recognized and known as a person and not just a patient, and we definitely have felt that here.
Well, how can you not be excited to see Eric, huh? Well, thanks for joining us this morning. I was excited to see you. We appreciate you coming down, Dr. Krupp. We appreciate you coming down, and we appreciate all the help that everyone's been giving. If you want